Dr. Jeffrey Halstead has been Canandaigua's hometown dentist for more than 35 years, offering routine dental care as well as cosmetic dentistry, implants, and dentures by their highly trained and experienced staff. Visit them online at canandaiguadentistry.com or find them on Facebook and Instagram.
All right, everybody, welcome into Fresh Takes with Russo and Felice, and welcome in to what is undoubtedly one of our top episodes of the year that we do. Personal favorite, fan favorite, combine it, you name it, it is what it is, the 2024 football preview episode. Paul Russo and Nick Felice here, as always. Nick, it's crazy. We are here on the eve.
Yep.
Of the 2024 NFL season.
Yeah, it came up a little fast because, I had some things going on last week, so we didn't have a show. My apologies.
Damn it, Nick.
And
figure it out.
So without the show, now it feels like it's really fast that it's here. So
yeah,
here it is.
Yeah, we'll get into all of that here in just a second. We'll also touch on some college football stuff as well here. But it's a football blowout episode, as we kind of call it here. It's a lot of fun. We're able to kind of get into some of the stuff we really enjoy, fantasy, gambling, actually talking about the actual real football.
Yeah, Canadian Football and Arena League.
Pretty much everything for the most part, outside the CFL, which is in mid-season form right now. So, yeah, kind of teed it up already. I think we kind of got to start here. We're on the eve of the 2024 NFL season here, obviously on Wednesday, tomorrow, Thursday. First game of week 1, Baltimore, Kansas City. It's really strange. I'm really interested to start here with you, Nick. I was talking last week on one of our other podcasts about this. It kind of feels like it's a little bit wide open in a sense this year. Now, I will say this. Kind of funny, when we started the podcast, 6 years ago now, we were in the midst / I guess technically really coming down, though, off the mountain of Patriots until prove me otherwise. I think we're still there, but it's with Kansas City in a way. Maybe we aren't quite coming down off that mountain or anything like that, but it does feel like Kansas City and then everybody else. But there's just the sense of openness to me that, it's not like Kansas City even last year was really this monster of a team, right? But they got done, obviously, and they were the best team last year when push comes to shove. Will they be that this year? I don't know. I mean, they're the odds-on favorite for everything, from their division to the conference to the Super Bowl on pretty much every book. And there's really nobody else kind of near them. It's kind of funny. I think Baltimore's probably the next closest, and they see each other week 1, obviously, tomorrow. Yeah. So, but the vibe I get is wide open as it stands right now.
Yeah, I mean, every start of a sports season has optimism for a lot of teams, and especially in the NFL, where you see more than any other sport, teams that were not so good last year become good in just a year span, and you see teams that were good start to fade in 1 year. So you see that a lot of parity in this league. So, yeah, I think you would say Kansas City's the odds-on favorite. Back-to-back Super Bowl wins. I mean, that alone will make you the odds-on favorite. But that's why we play the games. And even if they lose tomorrow, it's not the biggest thing in the world. The Chiefs lost opening night last year to the Lions.
That's true.
And they didn't play well pretty much, to their standards. They didn't play that well all regular season long. It almost felt like they were going to be a short playoff playoff run. And then they got hot, and they started playing their football. And they obviously won the Super Bowl. But, yeah, I think there's a lot of teams that feel like they've improved more. The AFC still seems like it's more dominant heavy at the top. But both conferences, I think, have gotten deeper. The AFC is definitely deep. The NFC, I think you could say it's deep. I mean, you go to like the 8th, 9th, 10th best team, not as probably good as the AFC, but, there's only one NFC champion, only one AFC champion, and that's what we're fighting for. And Obviously excited to see what my Giants can do this year. I know a lot of people are hating on Daniel Jones. Almost everybody
Well,
in the media. I saw Nick Wright yesterday. He's a very reliable source, and
I mean, he's one of the better ones now, actually.
but he has this Mahomes Mountain, or whatever, because he's a Chiefs guy.
Yes, correct.
And it's like ranks the quarterbacks by tiers. And it was like 20-something, 25 quarterbacks on there. He didn't even have Daniel Jones on this mountain, which is just mind-boggling to me.
Yeah,
And,
I don't want to jump in and outright interrupt, but like, I tend to be, I think, in the minority kind of with you. Like, I don't think Daniel Jones is this awful quarterback. I think, frankly, he was on the run a lot last year.
Yeah.
I just look. It's tough because me and you, like, you're a Giants fan, right? I'm a Washington fan. For those who may not know, and for all purposes this year, right? This year's probably going to be a wash for both teams. More of a figure it out with what you got type year in a sense. But like it appears as though both, like to me anyway, both have their answer at quarterback. That's not where I would be looking right now. It's funny to me though, because like I don't get on Facebook a ton anymore, but it's like when I do get on there during football season, like the Giants fans for whatever reason go after Daniel Jones. I'm just like I don't get it, and they're like have been going at him all summer too. Like I don't get it.
There's just something I just love his story because it's an underdog story. Yeah. Literally nobody's believing. Not even the Giant fans are believing in this guy. He saw Hard Knocks.
You have a Commanders fan sticking up for him over here.
You know how we're going through.
Yeah.
But you saw Hard Knocks. Not even the front office seems to believe him. They were thinking about drafting a quarterback for what they said. But even Madden's not believing him. All the media, of course, not believing in him. And it's just like 2 years ago, this guy won a playoff game. I mean, he got hurt last year. He didn't even have that many games to prove himself. Joe Burrow gets hurt, and nothing happens to him. And we just like, oh, he's good again. And no, 2 years ago, he was the one driving him down the field. Saquon was the one scoring the touchdowns. I keep saying that. And I don't know. Daniel Jones is he the greatest quarterback? No. But I believe in him, and I think he can make this football team relevant. And I could be wrong, and there's a difference between us and Washington. This is a make-or-break season for Daniel Jones. If it is another bad year and things don't go his way,
in New York,
they're going to move on.
Yeah.
But he can make it, and if he wins make it to the playoffs crazy, and then get a good matchup like we did, ironically playing the Vikings, who we play week 1, and win on a playoff game, that's as many playoff wins as Dak Prescott, and this guy wants the money, up as much as possible. And I don't know. I'm like you in the minority and still believe in this guy, and it's just a great underdog story. And he's been so humble this whole time, and these guys just ripping on him after. But it seems like the team still backs him.
Look, and this is a bit of a. I don't even really call it a full-fledged cliche thing because just like so many people just don't think about it in this sense. But like a quarterback can only be as good as who's in front of him. If you don't have a good line, it doesn't matter, right? Like I think Washington was a good example of that last year. Like when the line was healthy at the start of the year, very apparent that like Sam Howell was doing well, and injuries pile up, and you get other guys in there, and it didn't go well. People were wondering, like, oh, maybe Sam Howell is a flash man. I'm like, maybe. Like, look, I'm like you. I'm not going to go out here and say Daniel Jones is like Tom Brady or anything like that, right? But, like, I don't think he's Jamarcus Russell the way people think he's closer to being Jamarcus Russell than Tom Brady. I think it's quite the opposite. But, like, you can only be as good as the line in front of you. Look at 2 years ago, like, when he had a healthy line in front of him. Like, it's just the way football is. I don't know. It's just one of those things where I scratch my head and like, do you want to go down that route? Because it's not fun. It really isn't fun.
And a lot of people look at stats. He doesn't put up the most eye-popping touchdowns and passing yards, but he does the little things, and he just does his job.
Exactly.
And there's a reason the Giants are still going with him this year. Yeah. If they thought he was shit, they wouldn't have gone with him, and they're going to go with him right now.
Right. They're going back to Dable, I think, having play-calling duties, right, and stuff like that, so... Who knows?
And then you're Washington, different boat, obviously rookie quarterback. And And
Again.
they'll give them some time.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, they could have the same type of season Giants in Washington, but pretty clear cut who the quarterback will be next year.
For Washington, sure.
Yes.
Yeah. You would hope, but new regime and everything, that's the plan. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy the amount of people I kind of see going like, oh, this team could be playoff. I'm like, yeah, I mean, maybe if things break their way, but like, that's any football team. I don't know. It's one of those things, though, where there is a new hope. I'm trying not to get myself over zealous with it, right? Just because I think, even though now he's long gone, I just, like, the Dan Snyder stink is still just, like, kind of, I think, clouding me, and
I mean,
it's kind of where we're at.
How you feeling today on the Sweat and Chase trades? Chase Young.
Well, the Chase Young one I'm fine with still. The Sweat one still hurts.
Is he still on the Bears?
Yeah. When he got traded over there, he signed a 4-year extension. So.
And that was the new regime.
Yeah.
That did those trades.
Correct.
That wasn't Snyder's.
Correct.
So.
The Young, I mean, I don't know. It's just tough though. Yeah. There's a lot of question marks around the league this year too. I know, like you just mentioned, just only because of matchup purposes. Like Minnesota, obviously, plan was to have probably J.J. McCarthy be. I don't know about week 1 starter, but probably was going to be your starter at least the second half of the year as a rookie, and gets hurt. And now the trajectory of the season's already kind of a little bit in question, only because of wide receiver health meets off the field extracurricular activities. So who knows what the plan is going to fully be there, for example.
Darnold.
Correct. Sam Darnold's under center there. The North, the NFC North has a lot of hype around it because of Detroit, because of Green Bay, and a lot of people kind of circling around the Chicago Bears a little bit already here. Don't know about how well that's going to go, but I mean, they got on paper one of the better wide receiving cores in the league. Whether or not that fully comes into development and Caleb Williams is able to capitalize in his rookie year on that, we'll see. I'm not confident.
Saw a stat today on ESPN. Since 2004, I think it is. First overall draft picks that are quarterback are all 14-1 in their first game.
Well, take that for your betting purposes, right?
I think Bears might be favored too.
Let me see here, because I do have the sheet here from when we get to our picks. The Bears are actually favorites, 4.5 points on Tennessee.
It's a big sample size stat right there.
Yeah.
Because, they go to the worst team in football.
Washington's a road dog because they also have the rookie quarterback, first rounder. Just to further,
Yeah. Denver.
Let's see. Oh, yeah, Denver. Where are they at? Yeah, they're 5.5 point dogs at Seattle. And then that would be.
Yeah, because McCarthy's not playing.
Yeah, that would be it, right?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, because New England's going with Brissett.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I mean that would be it. Yeah.
Brissett.
Mm-hmm. Well, I kind of understand the
For now
decision there. That line did not look good in preseason. Go back to something I brought up there. Like, not to put Brissett out there as a meat shield, but like the one thing you really can't do is mess with a young guy's confidence like they could with Drake May behind that line. And, Brissett, obviously we know is a veteran, knows he can at least handle the job. I don't hate it until they get that line a little bit figured out better,
Bills wide receivers, we feeling confident?
So we were talking about this yesterday on Bills Weekly. And I feel like it's, personally the vibe I got, mixed bag on a lot of people here. I think Keon Coleman's going to be great.
Josh Allen make him better?
I'm a big Dalton Kincaid guy. I think he's going to be really good this year too. Mm-hmm. It's the stuff after them where I get really concerned. I know a lot of people are kind of hyping up certain people, Khalil Shakir, for example. I don't know. I'm more intrigued by like Mac Hollins in that fold, only because he had flashes in Atlanta.
He did.
Don't know how this is going to go in Buffalo. I can see him kind of emerging as like the true 2 there.
He's a veteran, too.
The tough part with Buffalo is you have a guy in Shakir and a guy in Curtis Samuel who essentially kind of do the same things. I don't know what to expect there. It's not like Buffalo's going to trot out there with a 4 wide out and 1 tight end set, right? Because then, what are you doing with James Cook, who was, to me, a top 5 running back in the league?
Until Nick Chubb comes back.
Well, I'm worried for my guy.
Oh, you are?
I don't think he's going to be the same player anymore.
It's true.
It hurts.
It's tough.
It hurts.
That was a bad injury.
Yeah, it hurts, but it's... In my head right now, I'm hearing "In the Arms of the Angels" by Sarah McLachlan as we talk about Nick Chubb.
I thought his leg was coming off. That was a bad one.
I remember watching the game, and I'm like, I'm going to throw up. Like,
That was disgusting.
it wasn't... Okay, God, we're going to go down this path. It was close, but not as bad as Kevin Ware. And Kevin Ware's, I was legitimately gagging. So...
Alex Smith.
Yeah,
Gordon Hayward.
Let's get back to, let's stay in that generalized area though, team-wise. What do you make of the AFC North as well in this? Because is it bad I'm not down with any of the teams? I don't view any of them as being...
What happened to the Lions train?
I said AFC.
Oh, AFC.
You kind of diverged off the NFC train. We'll circle back to them in a second.
Yeah, that's right. So you're talking AFC.
Yeah.
Browns defense is good.
I don't disagree, obviously.
But no, they're not I would like to like the Ravens, but they're just such playoff chokers.
Correct. That's my issue.
They
with
choke
them.
in the playoffs every year.
And it's not even playoffs. It's kind of more or less big game with them.
Yeah, when they play a big team.
Think about towards the end of the year last year, they were allowing a lot of mistakes to happen and teams that should not have been in games to be in games against them.
And then,
got
a lot of question marks with the Bengals, with Burrow and
Chase,
obviously.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to play.
Kind of Higgins still, sort of.
Yeah. He wanted out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of question marks there. And then the Steelers, it's a mess.
Yeah.
But we'll still somehow finish over 500 because of Mike.
Probably, somehow.
I mean, he's a great coach.
No, he's not.
Great coach.
He's not.
But
I'm here. You want to know I'm interrupting you. If you can do your why with my picks, I can do this for now. Why are people still so high on Mike Tomlin? Am I missing something here?
you are.
What? Tell me what I'm missing about Mike Tomlin. For the love of all things holy, tell me what I'm missing about Mike Tomlin.
Controllability.
Bullshit.
Antonio Brown.
He couldn't control him.
He had that one time in the locker room there, but once he left Pittsburgh, he was a mess. They just let the guy do whatever he wants. But in Pittsburgh, they controlled him for the most part. And just, the over 500, the 500 thing. I know 500 is not, over the top. But he's never finished under 500. And what's it been, 17 years? Something like that. And he's just, sure, the game's probably passed him by. It's kind of like Pete Carroll. It was time for him to go. Maybe it's time for Mike Tomlin to go, but I still...
Okay, but
still, end of the day, end of his career, great coach.
But that's exactly my point, though.
So are you not saying he's a great coach?
Pete Carroll, to me, if you're going to fire him, should have been 2 years ago or 3 years ago, not last year when it was actually things were going good.
Or 5 years when you put him in the hot seat.
Well, that's a different discussion. But the Steelers haven't done anything in literally 15 years. Right?
But he keeps them
the
relevant.
Giants have a more recent Super Bowl than the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Mm-hmm. What's that supposed to mean?
The Panthers have a more recent Super Bowl appearance than the Steelers.
There you go. That's a better one. Something never won.
I'm sorry. I just look they're like the Yankees right now. They consider themselves this great franchise, and they haven't done squat since 2009. In the grand scheme.
I know one that hasn't done squat since 1992.
But you know what I mean, though.
94, whatever it is.
You know what I mean, though, when I'm talking about this.
I hear you.
Like, Dallas at least is trying different things, much to their own chagrin half the time, but like...
It's true. I hear you.
You know?
But Mike Tomlin is...
And look, this is coming from a guy that hates the Steelers. But I have people in my life I care about who are Steelers fans, and for the life of me, I've never been able to understand the love affair with Mike Tomlin. I just don't get it.
Watch what you're saying there. You better be saying Steelers. Do not bring up Pittsburgh.
You know, well, they're from Pittsburgh, inherently.
Don't bring up the city.
I did bring up the city.
But when his career is done, great coach. And I still think he is a great coach. This team should be 2 and whatever. And he'll get them 8 wins.
Here's another I can't believe we're doing it. This is like the bulk of what we talked about for football now all of a sudden. He's like, oh, God, this one pains me to do this way. You really think Greg Popovich should still be the head coach of the Spurs right now?
No.
My point exactly. That one hurts me. You know more than anybody. That one hurts me.
I think Mike Tomlin should hang it up. But, like I just said, this team should win 2 games. He's going to get them to win 8-9. That's a great coach.
I don't understand their team build at this point. I don't know what they're doing.
Also, I like Tomlin. I don't like Popovich, so that's a big part.
That's a weird one if I'm being completely honest.
Well, he hates the Knicks, Popovich.
So do I, but you like me.
True. But I don't hang out with Popovich. I don't do a podcast with Popovich. Maybe I'll like him.
Maybe next week I need to dress up as Greg Popovich and just come in.
The Walker Greg Popovich.
From Game of Zones. Soul box. All right. Only because you mentioned them, let's stay in the North. Let's go back to that NFC North conversation
NFC
here.
North, yes. So you like this division?
To me, it's a toss-up between the Lions and Packers still in this division. I really want Detroit to win it, but like I feel like they got to have some sort
of... I got a take for you, since this is fresh takes.
Go ahead.
This is the best division in football.
Wow, that is a take.
Is it hot?
It's hot-ish.
I think it is.
You know who I think might be... Is this a hot take then for me? Because NFC West, I think, is the best division this year.
NFC West?
Yeah.
That might be hot. I could see it. Might be a little too hot.
I feel like I have too much stock.
You don't think the Niners are going to decline a little bit?
Well, that's what I'm kind of getting at here, is like, I feel like I have too much stock in the Cardinals this year, so that's going to backfire.
You have a lot of stock in the Rams, too.
Like, I think the Rams are going to be decent. I don't know about how good Seattle's going to be, but I can see them at least being a pest. You know? And then the 49ers... So the 49ers are a lot like the Lions to me. I just feel like there's some sort of regression that's going to happen this year. Like, something's lingering. I don't know what. Especially, and not so much on the Lions side of things. I think it's more for the San Fran side of things, where we've now put, and I guess it's true to the Lions in this extent. We put a lot of expectation on them. But at least with the Lions, right, like we've seen them build now the past 3 years, right, the steps, right, it's, okay, above 500, playoff, 1 playoff win, right? The 49ers now at this point have gotten to, multiple Super Bowls in this run and have just,
overtime loss.
Peed, and more or less peed their pants. And at some point, and that's the part I laugh at with some of the sports books, for example, place them as 2 or 3rd best odds, depending upon which one you're looking at. I don't really even have them ranked that high. I don't even know if I have them as the best NFC option to get to the Super Bowl. And eventually, again, this might go back to the quarterback conversation. I don't think Brock Purdy's bad by any means. I'd again go back to this element of it. I think he's closer to Tom Brady than he is Jamarcus Russell. But I don't think he's the answer either at this point. And that's the issue with this Shanahan system in a sense. Is he just feels like he can swap out quarterbacks whenever. I'm eventually that's going to catch up to you. Mm-hmm. Now, to be fair, now this is Purdy's 3rd season, right? To me, this is where they have to take the leap. And if they don't this year,
The thing I've been saying about the Niners is they have a great team.
Yeah.
They just need a quarterback.
Yeah.
If they had a quarterback, just a halfway decent,
You have been really saying that now the past 2.5 years, more or less.
I think they'd have a couple Super Bowls by now. I mean, they were so close last year with this Purdy guy, and they lost in overtime in the Super Bowl. So, man, if they could just get a quarterback in there, they would be unbelievable team. They have so many weapons on this team, defensively, the lines, just no quarterback. But going back to the NFC North, the one knock on the NFC North, they have not made the Super Bowl since Super Bowl 45.
Packers.
Yes, and the only one before that was the Bears in 41. I think it was.
No, the Bears.
Also
Bears
Colts,
made it in 06.
which was 41.
Oh, you're talking actual.
Super Bowl.
Oh, my bad. Apologies. Yeah.
1941.
I thought that my brain that should speak more volumes about
You think I just had that stat ready for me? 1941.
that should be more indicative of the Bears and the quality of football in the NFC North overall compared to me and my brain.
Yeah, so the division doesn't go to the Super Bowl often, is what I'm saying.
Correct.
So you're saying you wouldn't put the Niners as the top team to go back to the Super Bowl?
Yeah. So is this the hot take then for me? Another one?
Let's hear it.
Green Bay,
Is the favorite to go to the Super Bowl?
to me, in the NFC,
You got a good team.
I'd say probably them or Philly.
Philly.
Yeah.
You nervous about that offensive line?
There's a lot of things in Philly.
They
that
look
make-
terrible at the end of the
that's-
season.
That's the issue with Philly.
Coach.
That's the issue. There's a lot of things that make me nervous about Philly, but like they just got so much talent floating around that like I can just see them more or less backing into it because they didn't mean to, type thing.
Think Hurts and Coach Sirianni there are going to have some problems?
I think Jalen Hurts' big problem with the Eagles is going to be making sure he doesn't get like spear tackled every other snap. First and foremost. We'll go from there, and then maybe Big Dom can get in and figure that out for the rest.
Team I'm going with favorite to win the NFC is the Lions. I think they're
I-
building something.
And I don't
there.
disagree with you, right? It's just I just feel like there's got to be a little bit of regression, I think, with them.
I
to a
feel that,
degree.
but they want it so bad.
Correct.
It's just the team that they're back, and they got experience now. Goff's got plenty of experience. I think he's the most underrated quarterback in the league, Jared Goff, and I love the coach.
Yeah.
Just saw him in an Applebee's commercial.
Dan Campbell, yeah.
That was a funny Applebee's commercial.
Cover your mouth.
Yeah, I just love him as a coach.
Yeah. Man Campbell.
I would love to play for
He's a
him.
dude.
If it even was like a ping pong team, I want him as my coach.
Yeah. Speaking of new head coach, well, newish. Touch on the FC West here quickly. Obviously, Chiefs to lose, to put it bluntly. I don't see anybody this year threatening. If it is, it's probably the Chargers, and even then,
Well, it's not going to be the other two.
the tough part with the other two, Denver for sure, I cannot see this year doing anything. Raiders are the interesting ones only because like I view them as kind of I think in the same vein as the Giants in a way where yeah, in theory you probably view them as kind of being a pushover, but like I probably wouldn't want to play them week 16 if I needed a game. You know what I mean? Kind of like in that same vein as Seattle, I think in a way, right? Pesky. Don't know what to make of them, but like probably not looking like true contenders in a sense.
Raiders, you're saying?
Correct.
Yeah.
I mean, they play for Pierce. Like they play for Antonio Pierce, and that's the thing that should worry you as a fan against going against them opposing wise.
And Gardner Minshew will do his job, just like Darnold.
Yeah, but it's not. Whatever. They're minus obviously bigger names, right? Josh Jacobs, for example, goes in free agency to Green Bay, so.
That's a big ad.
Yeah, I
and
mean,
he's the main guy there,
correct.
fantasy-wise.
Yeah, so I don't know what to make of them. The Chargers would have to have, in my mind, a lot of things even go right for them to be actually fighting in that division this year.
I'm never sold on the Chargers.
I'm intrigued to see what Harbaugh does there, but the main issue there is, like, does he have the right personnel that he wants there to run his system? And I'm not convinced that that's the case.
Great coaches in this division.
I have a lot of stock like in Justin Herbert. Like I genuinely think he can be a great quarterback, but like this might be it for him in the Chargers, and that might be fine. Like we've seen guys before and just need a change of scenery, and they go out and they ball out. But I just for what we know Harbaugh does, scheme wise, Herbert's really not the guy. And furthermore, you want to talk about a bad offensive line. Charger offensive line is going to be rough.
Ask Eckler.
Yeah.
I will say, Sean Payton, I don't know if they're going to be good, but I can't imagine he's going to just sit there and be him terrible. You got to, I think, as much as I don't care for Sean Payton that much, he's proven to be a good coach.
Look, I liked Bo Nix in college. I think he has the opportunity to be a good NFL quarterback. My main issue as I view it with them is like they've had so much chaos the past 2 years. I just like if they even just get a year of stability, I'd consider that a big success. Yeah. Like it doesn't matter if the record's like 4-13 or 8-9, 9-8. If it's just stable, if it's just like you have continuity the whole year, there's no controversy, there's no super terrible injuries. Big check, and you can move on next year and view it as a success.
Yeah. Obviously, we know the Chiefs.
Yeah, we haven't really touched on the South yet for either side. Both are to me crapshoots again as usual. Apparently I'm one of the few that think this. I think Houston's in for a potential nightmare season.
Really?
Here the main issue with it, right, is we've seen quarterbacks more so than any other sport have this sophomore slump, and they're going in against a first place schedule this year.
Yeah.
There's a lot of mouths to feed now on that offense. I don't know. I don't know personally how well it's going to go. Furthermore, you have what is a team to me that's getting slept on in Jacksonville, if I'm being quite honest. I don't know about how great they could be, but you're giving me the option of with a healthy Trevor Lawrence and a healthy Travis Etienne, a defense that maybe not be great, but like very serviceable at the very worst, in a division that tends to be like its counterpart in the NFC, leaning towards 500 for the division champion. I don't view that as an awful pick. I also view it goes a little bit against, I think, what my view on the Texans is. I don't think Indianapolis is as bad as people kind of think.
Now, some players on.
Now, a lot of it for them, though, does comes down to Anthony Richardson. So, I don't know. But I'm not ready to fully commit on the Texans just because first place schedule.
And Stroud.
Exactly. So, bit of a toss-up there.
And obviously Diggs will be a great locker room guy.
Well, that's what I mean by, right, a lot of mouths to feed now. You already had Nico Collins and Tank Dell. Mm-hmm. You had a guy like Diggs into the mix.
Wants to be number one.
Wants to be number one, thinks, the ball revolves around him.
Mm-hmm. He was like second in targets and wanted the ball more.
Right. Like, I don't know.
Does he want it every play? I don't know. Diggs is a great player, but man, he's what we call in the sports world a cancer.
Not a locker room guy.
No.
Not a glue guy.
Intrigued to see how that goes there in Houston. I think Indianapolis is a sleeper in this division. Mm-hmm. Big Michael Pittman guy. So we'll see what Richardson can do. Richardson did look good for those few weeks that he played last year, but it's a few weeks. Right. I mean, he's coming off an injury. So
Tennessee, I'm very down on in general. Yeah. I'm not
a
fan of the way everything kind of ended for Vrabel last year.
Henry.
Obviously, Henry's gone.
Nashville, cool city though.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm hopefully Will Levis survives. The NFC South, very, very similar at this point. A lot of hype.
This division.
A lot of hype around the Falcons. Not too sure I buy fully into it. It's funny. I was talking about this last week on one of our podcasts. I kind of actually view Tampa Bay as being the best team in that division. They didn't gain anybody, but they didn't really lose anybody either this cycle of free agency in the offseason and stuff like that. Everything stayed the same. I think Baker Mayfield's one of the most underrated players in the game, quite bluntly. They have what is arguably maybe the best duo at wide receiver in Mike Evans and Chris Godwin.
Still been there.
I mean, yeah. Well, it's kind of crazy that people are really going chips all in on the Falcons when the Buccaneers are sitting right to the south in what I view to be a better seated position in that division.
I don't know what the Falcons are doing. Once again, this will be another year. I'm not going to pick the Falcons in your picks. I'm not picking them. No. They're trash. Sure, they got a quarterback now, Kirk Cousins. You like that? Not sure why they drafted Penix. Still a little confused by that. After signing Cousins to a 4-year deal. Maybe they want Penix to play wide out. I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, not high on the Falcons. The Saints have Derek Carr, who is just mediocre, and somehow probably gets more love than Daniel Jones for some reason. But and then who's the other one? Obviously Bucks and all the Panthers. I still like Bryce Young.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
The owner is the worst owner.
Yeah.
Oakland A's maybe number 1, but this guy's probably number 2. This guy sucks. That owner for the Panthers is terrible. That's why they never win anything.
Yeah, David Tepper's the worst.
The Panthers one?
Yeah, Tepper.
You think he's the worst? Worse than Oakland?
No, I don't know about worse than John Fisher, but
no, this guy is terrible. That's why they never win. But I like Bryce Young. They still got Adam Thielen, I think. I don't know. I think they could not be. They have the potential of not being the worst team in the league. You like that? You like that?
I guess I see what you mean.
It's not the greatest compliment in the world.
I'm trying to rack my brain around who could potentially.
They have the potential to not be the worst team.
No, right. I'm just trying to Patriots maybe.
Yeah. I'm not a big May guy, and I'm definitely not a Brissett guy. That guy.
The disrespect to a Washington legend.
I'm sorry. There's a lot of Washington legends.
You're goddamn right.
I mean, they've had a bunch of quarterbacks come through. But
true. All right, the only 2 divisions we haven't really talked about are the East so far here, AFC and NFC.
We did touch the NFC.
Kinda. So we'll circle back to them. AFC.
Well, we haven't mentioned the Cowboys.
A lot of people taking the Jets this year. Don't know how they feel about that.
Those people are idiots.
I understand why people might be taking the Jets. Just not my cup of tea. Wouldn't be my thing.
I don't get it.
I think the Dolphins have a real shot this year. Legitimate shot. Bills have a tougher schedule, but I still could see them making noise. The Jets are 1 tackle away from their season being the same as last year. And then the Patriots, I'm sorry,
Sorry?
Gosh.
No.
They're bad.
Forget them. You deserve to be down there. And stay down there.
Go ahead and cook.
You Patriots, get down there for decades and decades, and then we'll let you back up, all right? Mm-hmm. No, don't be apologizing to them. Are you crazy? To Boston? Oh, you should be ashamed of yourself.
I don't think it's necessarily I'm saying sorry to Boston. It's,
you could tell he's not
I would just say prepare for the worst.
You can tell he's not a Bills fan because a Bills fan would never apologize.
That is correct.
The Jets, you want one prediction from me? I know you're going to get a bunch of predictions throughout the season. One prediction from me, Paul, and it's a guarantee. Charles Barkley, guarantee. The New York Jets will go under 500 this season. Enough of this. USA Today had the Jets beating the Packers in the Super Bowl. Are you kidding me? 1. Aaron Rodgers going to take him to the Super Bowl. He's been to 1 Super Bowl. It happened a couple decades ago.
Okay.
The last time the NFC North made it to the Super Bowl, ironically. But, nah, you're right. They're 1 tackle away. It could happen in the first play. Could happen in the second play. Could happen in the fourth play, like last year. 1 tackle away from the season being over. And then all of a sudden, Garrett Wilson becomes nothing. Breece Hall becomes more, eyes on him. And then who's the backup? They don't got Zachy Wilson anymore, so no. The Jets are not going anywhere. Robert Saleh will be fired by the end of the season, and Aaron Rodgers will be out of here for one. Finally, he'll be gone. And, yeah, not a big Rodgers guy, not a big Jets guy. Come on. Come on, people. Wake up.
You heard it from Nick, folks. The NFC
Jets.
the NFC East, on paper, it's a two-horse race. Obviously, it could go different ways, but we know how me and you both kind of feel about the options here. I think I'd rather see Philly only because it just would be very funny at this point seeing the Dallas fans really melt down. But at the same token, it would be funny seeing all the Philly fans melt down as well.
I will never say Cowboys.
I know that.
That will never happen. For the sake of the show, I'll never say Eagles. And I'll say Washington. I like Washington. I think
Go Mandos.
Eckler could be a nice resurgence here. Be a nice little piece for Daniels. And Eckler likes his fantasy team. So, yeah, obviously I think, you want my honest answer? I think Dallas wins the division.
Wow, so we're going opposite ends then of this.
Philly, man, there was something worse than they have a 7-game losing streak to end the season, whatever it was. I don't know. They played terrible the last 7 games. There's more to that. And you're going to see it now. The tush push not going to save them. Sirianni's going to be gone. There's more going on in Philly.
I want to take a moment to apologize because if you say Nick Sirianni's last name in a certain way, if you have an iPhone, Siri will pop up.
Is that why my thing just went off?
My phone went off because of that.
Mine just did it too.
Yeah. So,
Nick Sirianni.
Don't stop. There's that. Picks first or predictions first?
We'll do predictions.
Okay. Super Bowl.
New Jersey Devils. Super Bowl. Let me think about this. I'm going to go Detroit Lions will win the Super Bowl over. I'm going to go. I'm looking for another team. I want to say Ravens. I don't want to say Ravens. I'm gonna go Bengals.
Okay.
Lions over Bengals.
I'm going to be signing myself up for a world of hurt by doing this. I'm going Green Bay over the Dolphins.
Wow.
Yep.
Some old school teams right there.
Yep.
Interesting. Green Bay. I would love that.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers, his last season in the league, and Green Bay wins it.
Last season?
Oh, my God. He needs to go.
All right, folks. So we get to the fun part of the podcast here for NFL where we get to make our picks for the week. If you don't know by now, me and Nick go head-to-head every week with picks.
Went all the way to the Super Bowl.
Go all the way to the end and see what happens.
Tied to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, so we were. I can't remember what happened. I'd have to relook it up.
I don't know.
Here we go. Our rolling records obviously are 0-0 for the week and year so far. Begin Thursday night football. Baltimore at Kansas City. Kansas City, a 3-point favorite.
Kansas City lost this game last year. I don't think they're going to do it again this year. Kansas City wins this game.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're going to be looking to get a statement win. And just like I said, I can't trust the Ravens in big games.
But if they touch Tucker's balls,
oh boy,
again, I'm gonna lose it. If Kelsey and Mahomes start messing with my guy Justin Tucker, I'm gonna lose it, Paul.
It's fair. All right, for the first time ever, well, not technically first time ever in this sense, but it's the first time ever for Week 1. I get to say Friday night football in Brazil.
Dun, 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 dun.
Green Bay is the visiting team on the board. The Eagles are the home team on the board. Eagles are 2.5-point favorites.
A lot of people high on the Eagles.
I'm going Green Bay in this
I'm
game.
going Green Bay as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, you just took them to the Super Bowl.
There's a lot of weird talk going around Philly already with this game, man. Packers have been quiet.
I love how we both took an NFC North team in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Winning.
Yeah, that's true. We did.
Winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah. It's true. We did. Not too sure how I feel about that now in retrospect.
We're usually pretty wrong.
Yeah, first of the 1 o'clock games on Sunday, we finally get there. By the way, interesting note I want to make for everybody on this. The Sunday games this year in the 1 o'clock window technically have a kickoff of 1:01 p.m. now.
What?
Yep.
101.
Yep. I think it has to do with TV and betting and stuff like that. So
Wasn't it 101 to begin with?
1 o'clock flat.
1 o'clock flat. Interesting.
Tennessee at the Bears. The Bears are 4.5-point favorites.
You know, these 1 o'clock games are not that great. I was looking at them.
Yeah, they're not fun.
None of them are really that great.
No, not really.
That's because we got so many great primetime games. But 14-1, I mentioned that stat earlier.
Yep.
Taking the Titans.
Yeah, I am as well. Hard to ignore, I guess, that number. Maybe we'll both be proven otherwise. Pittsburgh at Atlanta. Atlanta 3.5-point favorites.
No, Pittsburgh.
This is where we have our first differentiating pick. I'm going at Pittsburgh here, and it pains me. It pains me to do it.
I gotta do
Or
it.
no, I'm going to Atlanta here. I apologize. Atlanta.
I know, that's why I got to do it.
Yep.
Why, Paul?
After I just talked all that smack about Pittsburgh. This Pittsburgh team doesn't excite me.
No.
Not that this Atlanta team does either, but
No.
at least there feels like there's some positive movement with Atlanta. Can't say the same about Pittsburgh.
You see movement with this Atlanta team.
It's true, yes. Jacksonville at Miami. Miami 3.5.
That's all he had to talk about. Was just the only thing he said is why is because there's movement. Not even going to tell me what the movement is.
Positive movement. I said there's positive.
Where? Quarterback.
Yeah, kind of.
The running back is a stud.
It's true.
Okay.
Let's see. Jacksonville at Miami. Miami's 3.5-point favorites.
Battle of Florida.
It's true.
Give me the Jaguars in this game.
Oh, you're on Jags. We have another differential. I'm on Miami here.
You big on my man?
Yep.
I like Tua. Don't know if I like Miami as a whole.
Why not?
Because they never win a playoff game.
Sure.
They never do anything. Their coach is out there.
That's true.
But I'm taking Jaguars in the Battle of Florida.
All right then. We have New England at Cincinnati. Cincinnati 7.5-point favorites.
Cincinnati and the points.
Yeah,
baby.
yeah, I'm with you on that one. I don't think there's really much to discuss there.
Interesting to see how Joe Burrow plays.
Yeah.
Interesting if Jamar Chase plays.
Sure. Houston at Indy. The Colts are 2.5-point dogs.
See, I don't know if Houston's going to be a choker, like you said, this year. Like, they might have a big regression. I like the Colts in this game, though.
Okay. I'm going to go Houston here. Much as I was just, again, talking some smack about them.
A lot of people high on Anthony Richardson this year.
Yeah, first game of the year, though, I think there's still going to be some electricity with the Texans. I think it comes down to some other spots in the schedule for them.
Don't worry, you'll see it on Red Zone.
Yeah, that's true. Minnesota at the Giants. The Giants are a 1.5-point underdog.
They were a 1-point favorite in this game at one point.
Really?
Yep, and it's come down. People are starting to bet Minnesota. Not me. We beat them in the playoff 2 years ago, which people forget. Yes, Daniel Jones is going to beat Sam Darnold. Give me the Giants on opening week.
On the card, it's going to be back-to-back H's. I'm going with the home Giants as well in this game. So, Carolina at New Orleans. Nice little battle of, I don't know what here. New Orleans 3.5-point favorites at home.
It's a battle of trash.
I'm taking the road dog in this game, actually. I'm going to take the Panthers.
No, it's going to be the Saints. It's in the Metrodome. What is it, the Superdome?
Superdome.
Get my domes mixed
The
up.
Metrodome.
It's the Superdome.
My gosh.
I have Minnesota on my mind. Panthers.
That hasn't been a stadium in a decade.
It was a good stadium.
It collapsed on itself.
Little Big League. Great.
It's fat. That is a good movie.
But I'm taking the Saints at home.
All right, and then the last of the 1 o'clock window games, Arizona at Buffalo. Buffalo now up to a 6.5-point favorite.
I like the Bills to win big.
Yeah.
Marvin Harrison Jr.
I'm with you there, but I do think the Cardinals keep it relatively close.
We haven't mentioned Marvin Harrison Jr. yet. I mean,
I legally don't think we should.
all right.
Yeah, I think Arizona keeps it kind of close, though. But here nor there. All right, we get to the late window. First of that, Vegas at the Chargers. Chargers 3-point favorites. I went the Chargers here. I think.
You got me sold on Pierce, man. I'm taking Raiders.
Oh, wow.
Thinking upset. Jim
real-
Harbaugh
I
losing.
didn't realize just saying those guys play for him was such a swing.
It is, man. I'm like, I feel it. I feel it now.
All right. I'm with it. Denver at Seattle. Seattle 5.5-point favorite.
Russell Wilson's return home. Oh, wait, what? Well, they played in week 1 2 years ago, and
That's
they lost by that field goal at the end.
That's true.
They missed a field goal. I'm going Seahawks in a close one.
I'm on Seahawks as well.
Close one.
Think about the numbers. Bo Nix, starting quarterback.
That's true. Well, it was the first overall pick.
Whatever. Don't care. I'm classifying
I'm
classifying it as all first rounders.
I'm sure first rounders are under 500. Yes.
Dallas at Cleveland. Cleveland 2.5-point favorites.
That's surprising.
I know. It pains me. I'm picking Dallas though.
It pains me even more. Picking Dallas.
Yeah. I don't.
I want to win. Going for the win. I think Cleveland's going to lose.
Oh, okay. Well, we're both picking Dallas.
Yeah.
Okay. I just, as if he was, but Deshaun Watson ain't it.
No, he's been bad.
Yeah. The last of the 4 o'clock window, Washington at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay 3.5-point favorites.
Your favorite team versus your favorite underrated quarterback.
That's true.
I think Tampa Bay wins, yeah.
Yeah. So do I. All right, Sunday night football. You've been waiting all day for Sunday night. The Rams at the Lions. Lions are 3.5-point favorites.
Stafford's coming home again.
Again, yeah, completely forgot about that.
Yeah, it was a cool playoff game last year.
Mm-hmm.
And big year of the Lions. Get off to 1-0 start. Lions.
I'm on Lions as well.
How about them Lions?
And then Monday night football. One game this year on Monday night. The Jets at the 49ers. 49ers are 4.5-point favorites.
Well, I think Rodgers will make it to the 5th play. I don't know if he'll make it to the 7th.
Brutal.
Come on, man. Niners.
All right.
And blowout.
Same, except I don't know about it being
That
a
Jets
blowout.
defense is the most overrated defense in the league.
Yeah. All right, we got a couple more minutes here. Let's do some college football talk quickly. Notre Dame, nice win to start the year for them.
Big win.
Big win.
We're set up now.
Yeah. Syracuse as well. Nice little win to get things going against Ohio. Now sets up for a pretty interesting game this Saturday in the Dome. We'll get to that, though, in a second. Really, the only thing I think worth talking about is probably Florida State. They've looked miserable in their 2 games.
Terrible.
I kind of am shocked to a degree, but I don't know. It's tough. I don't think they have the safety net anymore for the playoff. I think that they're going to have to win out now, and I just don't foresee that happening. They didn't give me any confidence for the rest of the year, that's for sure.
I mean, they got some difficult games coming up still.
Correct.
And that doesn't give you the confidence that they're going to go run the tables here.
Yeah.
And, yeah, they could have won the Georgia Tech game. Mm-hmm. Boston College pretty much outplayed them. But it's a different story. You talk about a 1-1 team, and you're talking about a Georgia Tech team that's ranked now going into the Dome.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's disappointing. I can never say the guy's name, the quarterback. Ugalala.
DJ Uiagalelei.
He's terrible.
DJU.
He's trash.
Yeah.
He's just
He
he had a good year.
I don't know what
Washington
happened to
State last year.
Oregon State.
Washington
State.
State was
Cam
Ward.
Ward.
Yes.
Now in Miami, who had himself a day against Florida.
Now they impressed me.
Yeah.
I picked Florida in that game.
Did you?
Yeah, I lost my parlay.
That was a choice.
Lost my parlay because of that.
I know somebody who will let you know.
Yes, I had to tell Pat yesterday. But Miami's Miami. They're going to choke eventually. They're going to have the game won, and they'll just not need the ball.
That's true.
But off to a great start. They impressed me the most because how much they dominated Florida in the swamp. But
Get out me swamp.
I think Notre Dame's defense is good, but the Texas A&M quarterback,
Yeah, Wegman ain't it. Yeah. Do have a 5-pack of games here to pick from, Nick. I'm gonna include you on these this year. We won't do an official thing, but because you picked week 1, I figured we'll include Nick in on these.
Sorry we missed week 1, but we did week 0.
Yeah, whatever. So you were 3-1 in week 0. I was 2-2. I did 3 picks last week. They did not. I went 0-3 last week.
This is betting lines or straight up?
For me, I'm doing betting lines. For you can be straight up.
Okay.
First game, number 3 Texas at number 10 Michigan. Michigan is a 7.5-point home dog.
First time in like 3 years they've been an underdog
Yeah.
at home.
Yeah. I'm going Texas here. Michigan did not impress me in their game.
Not at all. Texas obviously didn't play anybody.
Correct. But at the same token, like Michigan went up against probably the 3rd best team in the Mountain West in Fresno State, and they didn't get embarrassed, but they didn't look good. That's for sure.
Coaching is huge, man. They got a whole new guy. It's different being, what was he, DC?
Sharon Moore was offensive coordinator.
Offensive coordinator. It's different to being a whatever coordinator you are to going to be the head coach. So I'm taking Texas.
Alrighty. So we're both on the Texas front here, and obviously you're picking straight up. I'm taking against the spread. Next game, 23 Georgia Tech at Syracuse. Syracuse a 3-point home underdog against Georgia Tech.
What's the line?
3.
I let the engine start running, man. I'm taking Syracuse in the dome, in the Metrodome.
It was 2 for 2 on the same pick then, because I'm taking Syracuse as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's just tough to play in the Metrodome, and yeah. So you're taking Syracuse as well?
Yeah. Georgia Tech will go as far as Haynes King allows them to in each game. I think Haynes King's a really good quarterback, but he has games and he has certain drives where there's a lot of like, damn, what the hell is he doing?
I know Fran Brown's only in 1 game in, but this would be a nice, real first win.
Nice little feather in the cap.
Yes.
Yeah. Tennessee, number 14 in the country at number 24, North Carolina State. North Carolina State getting 7.5 points.
I like Tennessee.
I do as well.
Yeah. -7.5.
Yeah. It's a tough week this week. There are some really good games, as we mentioned, but others not so much. These last 2, I kind of had to go picking a little bit.
Raleigh's a great city, though.
I've never technically been. Boise State's at number 7, Oregon. Oregon, 18.5-point favorites.
Oregon didn't look too great last week.
But neither did Boise State, all things considered.
No, I'll take Oregon. I think this would be a nice. They're going to go out and dominate this week.
So obviously, with me going against the spread, I'm actually going to take Boise here. I think Oregon wins outright. Boise's main thing is if their defense can get it together. That defense gets it together, they should be able to at least keep within that 18.5. But it all comes down to that. Yeah. So, cool. And then the last game I have on here, number 19 Kansas at Illinois. Illinois is a 5.5-point home underdog.
Wow.
Yep.
Surprised Northern Illinois and Notre Dame didn't make your list, but
Rocky Lombardi finally graduated, so.
This is at Illinois?
This is at Illinois.
In Champaign?
In Champaign, yep.
Taking Illinois with the upset over Kansas.
Wow, so you're taking them outright. I'm going to take Kansas here. I'm going the opposite way of you, so. I wouldn't be surprised, though. That game, I wouldn't be surprised one way or another, for sure.
I'll never be sold on Kansas football.
I don't blame you. It's hard not to be, but at the same time, Brett Bielema, I don't trust. So, that does it for the football 2024 extravaganza.
Yeah, it's football eve. Obviously, big Eve guy here.
You are. You're also big on the shout-outs, so who are you going to on that one today?
I'm going to shout out my Uncle Joe. It's Uncle Joe Corsani.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to make sure I got this correct. Saturday.
29th birthday.
29th birthday on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out Uncle Joe, big Raiders fan. Don't know. I mean, he got me sold on the Raiders, man. And Antonio Pierce, that one comment. But
they play for him.
Yeah, happy birthday, Uncle Joe, and go Raiders.
Yeah,
And Mets.
I like that. All righty. So, Nick, we'll catch you next Wednesday.
Yes.
We'll recap some week 1. We'll preview week 2. We'll do some college football, and who knows what else might pop up in between now and then that we'll be able to discuss. So enjoy week 1 of the NFL season, everybody. Fall's here. Football's ready to go. Get ready for Scott Hansen for those of you who join us on the Red
7 hours
of commercial-free football on tap. Enjoy the weekend, everybody.